Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm going to talk about the Knight of Wands today, and I think I'm going to say in a very Knight of Wands manner that I think the card or the song I've chosen for the Knight of Wands is like a perfect fit for this energy. Yeah, it's a great song. Anyway, let me quickly talk about how other people have interpreted this card. So we are in Wands. So if you think about Aries, Leo, Sagittarian energy, people who are proactive, creative, often like to be the centre of attention, can have a little bit of drama about them, assertive. I love the keywords here in Next World Tarot, where the keywords are the fire starter. So this is someone that gets things done, that initiates something. They may be a little bit reckless and not quite as careful as other people. I mean, all the knights are a little bit reckless, but I would say especially, we've got fire here, air and fire. So they could be racing towards disaster, but they could also be racing towards success. So it's a lovely, youthful energy, a nice energy to be around or to experience. Now, if I talk about the traditional interpretation, portrayals of this card. So we've got Rider-Waite and we've got Thoth. I think I definitely prefer the Thoth here. The Rider-Waite to me, the expression, something about the way Pamela Colman-Smith has drawn the knight, but I think he looks a little bit scared and worried. And this is not the expression that I associate with the knight. The horse is rearing up, but maybe it's not quite intentional that that's happened. So I prefer the Thoth. And I think the knight here, or the Prince of Wands, as Crowley called him, is... they look like they belong to a 1970s musical. You can imagine their whole body is spray painted gold. They've got an amazing set and they are just a blaze of sunshine coming onto the stage. Well, this is like a carnival, isn't it? It's joyous. It's a celebration of life, I think. Someone who's almost bigger, bigger than life, who's got excess energy, maybe can be a little bit intimidating because of that, to be in that. It's not a quiet card. But my favourite, which is a little bit more reflective, I think, is this from Sweet Twilight. And this was my first tarot deck, so I've got a soft spot for these cards anyway. And I think this has got an interesting perspective because, and I've lost the little white book that belonged to this deck, but my interpretation of this is we've got this puppet down here who they've got strings. Maybe those strings have been cut. We've got these masks floating, but I think I get the sense that maybe the Knight of Wands is escaping that. So this is about stepping into authenticity, which is also to do with creative expression, isn't it? That is what we hope for in creative expression. Or that could be also to do with, because I mean this is also associated with like a passionate love affair. That could also be associated with that. We are following what we want, following our heart. And that can mean leaving behind those ties and those strings of society, if you like. So that's how other people have seen the card. And I think this is going to come as no surprise to you. But the song I have chosen is Wuthering Heights. And I think this really represents Knight of Wands. Kate Bush is a Leo herself. She's got a lot of that fire energy to her. This dress is from her live tour, was what she wore when she was singing. And you can see she's got her hands out there like she is being Cathy Earnshaw, she's being the ghost at the window. I will link, I did manage to find a video of her singing the song in this dress. It's quite an interesting video because I can't remember what the programme was, but there's a very almost stuffy kind of introduction of her from this older man. And then she's appearing on this stage and she's like this fireball. She's so full of that youth and that energy, and she is too big for her environment in that. And she's got this, she's got a microphone, and you can sense that she feels a little bit restricted because she's having to hold a microphone, which is also why when she did her tour, they managed to construct some sort of microphone on headphones or something so she could dance, and that was quite new at the time. I am embarrassed to admit that I have never read Wuthering Heights all the way through. I have tried. And yeah, if you've read it and love it, please leave a comment and try and encourage it, because I will maybe try again. Because I love Jane Eyre. I know that's by Charlotte Bronte. And I'm fascinated by the Bronte sisters. I feel drawn to Emily because there is the suggestion that she was neurodivergent, and she seems an interesting person. And I do like some of her poems as well, but I've never been able to get on with Wuthering Heights. I think it's partly that story within a story structure that it has that has put me off. But, and you could say the Knight of Wands is Cathy Earnshaw, and certainly from what I've read of what her personality is, she is this passionate person who could definitely be seen as a Knight of Wands character. And I love this, I hated you, I loved you too, because that feels like such a fire sign. It's a very melodramatic statement, isn't it? Or not melodramatic, I keep saying that word, don't I? But it's a very passionate statement. And I think I talked about that energy with the Queen of Wands as well. And when I was talking about Babushka, there is that's a similar type of person. But I think that even if I didn't know much about Cathy Earnshaw and the character, and I don't, Kate Bush here is the Knight of Wands. I mean, she talks about identifying strongly with Cathy Earnshaw anyway, and the fact that when she was young, her family used to call her Cathy, so she already had that kind of connection with the character. But more than that, she is this passionate, larger-than-life person suddenly coming onto the scene, the music scene, and people quite not knowing quite how to deal with her, I think. And there's also that story, the fact that when, this is her debut single, and the record company wanted her debut single to be James and the Cold Gun, and she's, as a young woman, she insisted it was Wuthering Heights, which also feels like a very courageous thing to do and a Knight of Wands thing to do. So, and this is her at the beginning of her creative career. So I think she is perfect. I think in future, maybe creating this deck, and this is how I do, but I think in future when I pull Knight of Wands, part of me will still think of Wuthering Heights and Kate Bush at this early part of her career, and that courage that she had, that creative courage, which is something that I so admire in her work. So that is that's my take. Let me know what you think as always. And yeah, please, if you've read Wuthering Heights and loved it and think I should read it too, please, let me know and tell me why, and maybe I should revisit it. And thank you as always for watching. Bye bye.